friends of the plants. How human beings and plants can become friends. How? By supplying compost to the plants. Because compost is beneficial to the plants, we can supply, human beings can supply compost to the plants, and then plants become the friends of the human beings in that way. Same way, earthworms are regarded as the friends of the farmers. So farmers can become friends of the soil. How? By supplying earthworms to the soil, farmers can become friends of the soil. And usually the earthworms are of reddish in color. So mainly we get red earthworms around us, right? So human beings can become friends of the plants by supplying compost to the plants. And farmers can become friends of the soil by supplying earthworms. Earthworms are known as the friends of the farmers. So this method of preparing the compost with the help of red earthworms is known as vermicomposting. Vermicompost is nothing but the method of preparing compost with the help of red worms or the red earthworms is vermicomposting. I shall give you an example of an activity how vermicompost can be made. We can dig a small pit in the earth, in the soil, or we can take a wooden box and do this activity. So on the below the bottommost layer, a mesh will be placed. You can place a mesh on the bottommost 2 cm layer, or you can even place sand. Then above the sand you can put all the vegetable waste, tea leaves, fruit peels. Then over that we can put animal wastes like dung, cow dung, goat waste, or any buffalo dung, anything you can put. Then you can add few red earthworms to it, right? Red colored earthworms we can add to it. Then we have to cover it with soil. And then over the soil we have to cover the pit with a gunny bag. Gunny bag has holes over it, right? So it helps in supply of the air. Then we have to give food for these earthworms. What can we give food? We can give them weeds. Weeds are the waste plants which grow in any farmer crop or anywhere outside, right? Weeds we can give them. We can give them dried waste, dried leaves, or animal shells, or powdered eggshells. Animal wastes, powdered eggshells we can give them, right? So how to prepare a vermicomposting pit? You have to dig a pit in the soil, or you can take a wooden box and then make this. The below bottommost layer you can put a mesh, or otherwise you can even put a sand layer. Then above that you can put vegetable wastes, dried leaves, fruit peels, etc. Then you can put animal wastes like dung, right? And then we can cover the layer with soil, and then we have to introduce few red earthworms in it. So these are the red earthworms which we have introduced. And then we cover this pit with a gunny bag, right, or a rice bag. Then what will be the food for the earthworms? We have to provide some food for the earthworms also, right? The food for the earthworms can be powdered eggshells. Earthworms do not have many developed body systems. They only have a digestive system. They do not have any brain. They do not have any eyes. They do not have any nose. So whatever comes to their mouth, they will eat. They have only a mouth, digestive system, and they breathe through their skin and no other body parts. And an earthworm, if suppose its weight is 50 grams. So suppose an earthworm weighs 50 grams, so it can eat 50 grams of food in a day. The equal quantity of its body weight food it can eat in a day. And what food we can provide to the earthworm is powdered eggshells we can provide, weeds we can provide, or any fruit peels also we can provide. So whatever comes to its mouth, it will be keeping eating. And then we have to keep the layer of the soil loose, and we have to keep mixing it up and down every 2 to 4 days. So after 4 weeks or so, if we observe in this pit, this total waste will convert into a blackish color structure and look like soil. Understood? So after few weeks, this because the earthworm keeps eating everything and keeps moving up and down, and they are loosely packed soil is there, air spaces is there. So lots of air will also be incorporated. So the microorganisms and this red earthworms together make this soil pit into a vermicompost. So this vermicompost also acts like a manure to the soil. What are the advantages of this vermicompost? It is less expensive, right? And we can say this is the best out of waste. We can say this is best out of waste. This is less expensive, and this, if it is done on a large scale in an agricultural field, then no need of buying chemical fertilizers. And we can say the product, the food, whichever is produced in that field is organic. Nowadays we get many organic products, right? So So all the organic products have only organic manures like composting and vermicomposting. So it is better than the chemical fertilizer. Without any pesticides or herbicides, we can grow a crop. Then after doing this for 4 weeks, we will get a black colored soil layer, which is vermicompost or manure, right? Then if we want to remove that vermicompost, what we do is we give some food at a corner of a pit to the earthworms. We give some food at the corner of a pit to the earthworms, and then we remove all this layer. If we give food, the earthworms will move to this corner to eat, right? So then we can remove this vermicompost. We can dry it in the sun for 2 or 3 days and then add as a manure to the plants. This is vermicompost. So here how we have made vermicompost, we have taken a pit, we have put mesh over it or sand, then you have put all the vegetable waste, powdered eggshells, food for the earthworms, animal dung, weeds, powdered eggshells, you can put fruit peels, anything you can put, tea leaves, like that, paper pieces. Then you have to cover it with soil and then a gunny bag, and you have to water it. Little only you have to water, excessively you should not water. And then after few weeks you have to keep mixing it day and night, and the soil should be loose, you should not tightly pack it. After few weeks the total pit will convert into a blackish colored soil layer, which will only have red earthworms in it. And this is called the vermicompost. This acts as a manure to the soil and provides nutrients to the soil. And suppose now if you want to remove that vermicompost from it, what you do is at the corner of the pit put some food for the earthworms. Then as the earthworms will move to the corner, then you can remove all this vermicompost, dry it in the sun for 2 days and then use as a manure to the soil. So then after that you can again add some vegetable, animal feeds, animal dung and soil, and again make a new vermicompost pit in this. Because all the earthworms have moved to one corner, you have removed the vermicompost and again added the fresh waste for the remaining waste to be converted into vermicompost. And the advantages of this vermicompost is it is the best out of waste, it is less expensive, and the vermicompost is done in a large scale in agricultural field. It will be better than the chemical fertilizers. It will give us the organic food which is free of chemicals, pesticides, herbicides. Now clear about vermicomposting, right? With the help of earthworms, composting is done, which is known as vermicomposting, and usually the red colored earthworms are used.